So viewers, welcome again to this episode 2 of our encounter with the missionary John Githinji. He has been with us. He was telling us about how he went to Tanzania and how he started mission work there. And before we proceed, I would like to ask you to share this video with others, and also to like it, and also to subscribe, so that you you may enable us to reach a wider view. Now, missionary.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Before we ended the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
You told us how you got to Tanzania,
Mm-hmm.
and the challenges that you faced.
Mm-hmm.
Because the church that sent you was not fully able to assist you.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that the much they could assist you was on your upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you tell us, what is the work of a missionary? When a missionary goes to a foreign country, what is he supposed to do? And how is he taken?
Yeah. Now, I'm thanking you. I'm so happy. I'm popularly known as Missionary Wachira. And but when I come back to Kenya, I'm known as Githinji.
Yeah.
And I thank God for all those things. May I say that, being a missionary is a title given by our organizations for the purpose of destinations and understanding whom that person is. But primarily, a missionary is somebody who has got a testimony and also a mission, somebody that the Lord himself has commissioned and given him straight and open direction of what to do and where to do it. So as I have been living my life, I've been living like that. And now, me having been sent by our church, the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, and as I had said in the previous episode 1, is that I was sent in a time, I left Kenya in a time that there was a lot of changes happening in our denomination. So there were a lot of infightings in terms of leadership, and that brought in some conflicts of interest amongst our leaders, and that was driven by lack of knowledge or lack of desire for leadership and superiority. So I went in a time that others said I've been victimized, others said I have been, I've got the best place to have. They saw the financial advantage of a missionary due to the collections that were being corrected in the name of the missionary. So they thought that now I've already become very rich. And also in my mentality, because I was following what the Lord had given me to do, I didn't do anything new. I was not moved from what I was doing to doing other things. I continued with what I was doing in Kenya. So it is a continuation of what I have been doing in Kenya all along. A minister of the gospel, a pastor, a mentor, a church, a church planter. And my planting, I know that that's my mission, it's my gift, and I've been doing it. So I went in the same capacity, in the same line, in terms of my calling and my fellowship and relationship with the Lord. What changed is, who is my paymaster?
Yeah.
My paymaster when I was in Kenya was my local church.
Okay.
It's the local church that was paying me. Now, I've been removed from the local church and been given to the region, to the larger church. So the local churches have to collect the money, take it to a certain office, and the office then brings to me what I have to get. That meant an up something. The income from the local church was lower than what I was expecting to get here. So having that expectation that now I'm going to get something a little bit higher because I'm in a foreign country and I need much more money to do my work. Going with that expectation and then coming to the field and getting a rude shock that it is not as it is. I think I know how much they are getting in Kenya, and what is coming here is not what I was to get from there. So it took some years for God to get me out of depending from people to depend on him. And for me to get out from there, don't look at people, don't look at the church, look at me. It's me who called you, and it's me who sent you. So it's me to look after you. Don't look after the people. And that saved me from having any quarrels with them, with those who are managing the finances back in Kenya, how much they brought and how much they kept. It really saved me. But it took time for me to know how to rely with God, to live with what he gives me. And for that reason, there was a big difference. Take it that me who has gone to the mission, I'm new in a foreign land and being designated as a missionary. And those who have sent me, they are also new. They have never sent a missionary. So that relationship of two foolish people, of groups, there must be a conflict. To worsen the matter, in Kenya there is already a conflict of who is superior to the other, who is going to be the leader of the church. And the church is divided into two, top, bottom. And that now, when I went to Tanzania, in Kenya, the situation deteriorated of the church squabbles that were going in, such that all the finances they were getting from other sources, I think it went to infightings and whatever they were doing there, the money was not coming now to the missions. To a point that I also started really missing and even getting any support. God teaching me how to depend on him. And then, as we were living in that particular, I said about us going to cultivating to farming, my wife doing tailoring, and the school has now started, whatever we are getting there, we're putting to the school. So there's some kind of, we are eating with the children what they are paying. That's what we are eating with them. We are living by what we are, the ritual that is coming from here. Because all that is coming. Now, the community also, they see a Mzungu that has come, a white man, just as we Kenyans look at the white people. We see they are rich. Now, even if I am black, but being Kenyan, actually I'm rich. By then, when we went to Tanzania, 1 Kenya shilling was equal to 10 Tanzanian shillings. So 1,000 was equal to 10,000. So I am rich.
You are rich.
Yes, my money is strong. And the community looks at me as a person with wealth. So I couldn't make ends meet. And I am being taught by God how to depend on him. So I was getting just enough. And we lived like that, doing our work in that situation, that in terms of finances. And God taught me how to depend on him. But things deteriorated both ways. Kenya, the church disintegrated.
And 2 functions now.
The 2 functions, and divided into Worldwide Gospel Church and Full Gospel Churches of Kenya. And that now meant people leaving their properties. Those who were chosen out of the Full Gospel, they had to start new constructions, buying plots, and depending with what we are doing. And even the leadership there was to be framed anew. So there was nothing to do with anybody outside their locality. So the mission work was completely left out of the equation. So we were there in Tanzania, no connection in Kenya in terms of who is my leader, no expectation of any shilling coming from Kenya. So I was there with my situation. And by then, of course, I couldn't tell the Tanzanians that the church has broken up there, there's no money coming in. You know, that would have made even the government to stop giving me the papers, because those who sent you are no longer a unity. So we had to keep that internally and suffer the consequences alone. Now, what happened by that very time, God sent me, I had already won the heart of 2 missionaries. One missionary called Christian Alterbach, who had also broken out from the Lutheran Church in Tanzania. And she requested to join my church, the Great Commission Churches of Tanzania. And after speaking with my bishop, they agreed and they gave her the working papers, and she became a member of our church, and we were with her there in Oliondo. Now, how did she assist me? She also was as poor as I was. Although coming from Germany, she wasn't rich. She depended with what she was to be given in Germany. So she told me, how I can help you is to help the children, sponsor the children, look for children and sponsor. She joined me to another missionary called Angelica, working with an organization called Help for the Maasai. And Angelica came in, Help for the Maasai, and they said, missionary, what we can assist you for your work, because we see it's really God-given, is for us to take children, sponsored children, and we pay for them lump-sumly, because you are going to take 30, 40 children, bring them and pay their school fees in lump sum manner. That lump sum is going to be able to assist you to construct the classrooms needed, and even to do the desk and whatever they are needed. So that was the miracle that God performed. So when they brought in sponsored children, so the little money that these others are paying, we are able now to help me, assist me very much in two areas: run the school and even continue my evangelism and church planting. So I became a little bit free now. I started getting finances, not much, but enough to make us survive. So that is how God weaned me from depending on people and depending with him. At the same time, Jeremiah, I know you know that it is also at the same time that the Lord brought you looking for us and saying, how are you living? You know, in your own estimation and view, you were just but a church elder. You didn't have any rank. And so you did not come with any rank from our organization or from the Full Churches of Come. You came by what the Lord sent you with the word to come and look for me. And you built a relationship between you. You are my disciple. You are my child spiritually. And even we are not from the very same church, because I was in Narok, you are in Nakuru. But the Lord sent you to me. You endeared yourself to our ministry. You say the Lord has sent you to be working with us. And you started supporting us in a way that we just got amazed. You see? So I have the Christian back with Eureka. I have now the Angelica coming in. And slowly by slowly, we picked up. We grew. That is from the year 2005. You see? All the way, I had no connection with Kenya. That means with the leadership. And the squabbles that were happening here, I was no longer involved, because the GCCT church is in a different country. We don't have any legal connection with this country. Now, here I bring the concept of how GCCT started itself. GCCT was started by Nairobi. The late Bishop Dr. Stephen Kigulo is the founder of the Great Commission Churches of Tanzania. He went there in the year 1993. He started the church and registered the GCCT in the year 1995, which also was a point of controversy and infighting in Kenya. He was being beaten because of going to register a church in Tanzania in a different name other than Full Gospel Churches of Kenya. So those who were his enemies used that as a weapon to fight him, that he is starting his own denomination away from the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, something that was used up to the point of their division. So they, having started the church in Karatu, registered the church, we from Nakuru entered the arena in 1999. That's when I went there. But I didn't go to where the Kiguru churches had been founded. There were two missionaries already sent from Nairobi. They were there. And the Nairobi church was very busy with those churches. Me, the Nakuru church which sent me, we went to Ngorongoro, another different district from where Kiguru was. So my Ngorongoro church was kind of an independent church from the Nairobi church. So we were not very much involved with the running of the church. We didn't know when the meetings are going to be held. We didn't sit in initial meetings. We were only to be told that we're having this or that in the GCCT. And whenever we went, we were just like visitors from any other place. So we were building GCCT, lakini something a little bit out from the main GCCT. We are being run by the Nairobi people. The Nairobi people. And that also kind of put a lift somewhere in GCCT. Because the leadership is Nairobi. We Nakuru, I'm alone there in Ngorongoro. We are having the The growing churches are multiplying from 1 to 2 to 3. You see, to 3, and the schools. We had the Loliondo school. After that, the community demanded that we also begin a church in the Sonjo community, which was very backward. Remember me speaking about the Sonjo people with their strange customs. Culture. We had already, God had already sent me there. We had already started a church, and the elder the man who invited me to Sonjo, through whom I went to start the church, he was killed, murdered, in a day that I was going to visit him. And it was very, very painful for me. So I had already now entered the Sonjo community, what the Lord had told me in the beginning. They had given me land. We had a brother missionary in Kenya who was sent by Kiguru. He came and constructed for us 2 churches in the Digo area. So I had already entered there. So the church is growing. We are adding more churches. And the school is really growing. The only English medium school in the whole district. The first one and the only one. So that lived between the little GCCT and us, who are just a branch of it, but we are looked upon as the Nakuru people. Now, the church have disintegrated. The Kenyan church have disintegrated. I don't have any more connection with the Kenyan church. The Nairobi church is not also able now to function in Tanzania, because one of the first missionaries had already left the country and gone to the USA. The other one also got injured spiritually during that conflict in Kenya. He got himself involved in the conflict in Kenya. That made him to leave the work, the missionary work, and come in Kenya to fight in that war. Mwange, he was more called Mwange. So we lost him from the mission field. I was the only missionary left there with Milka in the whole country. And that they are living, and I being the only Kenyan who is one among the founders of the Great Commission Churches of Tanzania, that drew now me closer to the Tanzanian leadership. That was not the Kenyan leadership, but the Tanzanian leadership. That is the assistant presiding bishop, the leadership. We started now coming together. They trying to woo me to their side, because they see how I'm developing, how their church is growing, and GCCT Ngorongoro district became the face of GCCT Tanzania to the government, because there were no any community development that had been undertaken by GCCT. But when Nakuru came in and the school started, now the government saw this denomination is also involved in community work. So it added a value. The school added value to the church. So we are the face of GCCT to the government. We are there. The GCCT got credit by having the schools, not one, but now 2. So the pastors, the bishop there, started now owing. We started coming more closer, because I'm the only missionary. There are conflicts in Kenya. There was in Kenya. I'm the only missionary from Kenya who is in Tanzania. So, and they needed me because of the teachings and even because of the finances.
Okay.
Because I'm their father.
Yeah.
So they needed me for those. The teachings to make sure that the legacy of the Gospel Church of Kenya continues in terms of the teaching, the constitution, and also they knew I've got the connection with the Kenyan church, so I can be able to assist them financially. So you see? Okay. So we started coming closer, and eventually we became clearly one. They started involving me or informing me of needs outside Ngorongoro district. They started telling me, please assist us open a new church in this district. Please help us start a church in this region. And then that's how we started now coming out of Ngorongoro into the whole GCCT and moving as one GCCT.
Now, what was the impact of the disintegration of the church? Now we have Full Gospel Churches of Kenya and worldwide. And initially, GCCT was started by the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's this integration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the impact of GCCC?
No, of
okay. The impact that was created by this integration in Tanzania.
I think it was very positive. Mm-hmm. Very, very positive. Mm-hmm. The impact of the disintegration, mm-hmm. you know what happened? Mm-hmm. All those who were mission-minded people, mm-hmm. who were doing the missionary work, mm-hmm. remained one.
Okay.
Those who were against mm-hmm. mission work, not only in Tanzania, mm-hmm. but they never did the missionary work anywhere else mm-hmm. in the world. Mm-hmm. They were just interested in the local churches they had and the leadership of the Full Gospel Church of Kenya. Mm-hmm. They remained together and also disintegrated further mm-hmm. after the separation of those who were missionary-minded mm-hmm. and those who were not missionary-minded. Mm-hmm. The missionary-minded group remained as one mm-hmm. all over the country. Mm-hmm. And those were the owners of the mission field. You know, when I came back, when I came back to Kenya, mm-hmm. I found my Full Gospel leadership that was in Nakuru remained in entirety together, and they had moved en masse to form WGCK. And those who were the mission work, they had remained in the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, and also divided. Only one group, only one person that had been on our side, that in the process of of the warfare, it turned backwards and joined Full Gospel, and that is the Narok Church, which we were together in the mission field. It's the only local church or area that did not go out and join GCCT. And Narok remained as Full Gospel, although they had been for the missions. They remained as Full Gospel even to date. You get me, right?
Yeah.
So to me, after coming and seeing what has happened, I saw that was a very positive move, because those who were not really for the gospel, for the mission work,
they are out.
They are out. Those who were mission-minded are together. So GCCT benefited from that.
And what was the impact
of that one?
Yeah.
The impact of that one, remember, already there in Tanzania, we as GCCT, we are now one.
Okay.
We don't have two GCCTs. We don't have the Nakuru one. We have the Kericho one there in Sirare, and Isbania there, the border, the other border. So we had the Sirare one, we had the Ngorongoro one, and then the Arusha Karato one. Now, when this happened, the three became one. No more divisions.
Okay.
So that was a positive move. Then, the other positive move is our being one there now made it possible for us now to focus in the country, not in our regions, not in our areas. You see?
Initially, people are developing their region.
Their place. Yeah, we are the Nairobi people.
Now we have our area.
Yeah,
Nakuru,
we are the Nakuru people. They have our own area. Now come this integration. We are no longer Kericho, we are no longer Nakuru, we are no longer Nairobi. GCCT became one. But now, in the process of us in Tanzania now becoming one, it continued to be, even if the Nairobi group, the founders of the church, remained as WGCK, they didn't continue with the mission work. They phased out and left nobody for their mission work.
And now they are phased out.
Yes.
What was the impact? Because they are the ones who start GCCT.
Yes.
They are phased out.
Yes.
What was the impact to GCCT?
It was very negative in that now they are phased out. They did not care about what they started, but because now I am there in a way, they did just move. They almost like moved out, but they did it in a gradual manner. In that now the incoming after the passing away of our founder, Bishop Kiguru, our presiding bishop by then decided that we are not going to change the leadership. The very bishop that has taken over from Kiguru is going to continue to be our bishop, the presiding bishop in Tanzania. So he took about 3 years to continue to prepare us, to prepare GCCT
for the exit of
WGCK.
Okay.
So in 2016, WGCK exited, and the Tanzania leadership was ordained, and it became now independent from Kenyan leadership.
What was the impact now of the church in Tanzania now? The Kenyans are phasing out.
Yes.
What impact did it have on the Tanzanians? The leadership now, because there is a leadership.
Yeah, even though they are young spiritually in terms of leadership, they had not matured enough to get that. But now, due to the situation that now they must be the leaders, and they have been entrusted with the leadership. But in that phasing out period, God had really now blessed me. I say me. I blessed my ministry. I had brought in, or we had brought in Korea from Nakuru with the whole GPC church. He had come in very strongly, and the Lord had spoken to him. So he brought with him the missionaries, and they helped build the Bible school. You had come in, Njuguna had come in, again above those ones that were there. So, and we had already started now planting new churches in other regions together as GCCT. You see? But what happened after they phased out, it was really difficult for me, because I'm there. And also inside Tanzania, even by that time, there was also a lift. Because now, after these people has gone out, the bishop has to move from there, has to come. That happened when the missionary had left, the first missionary. And then, who is going to be who? Who is going to be who? And maybe without knowing, there must have been that infighting of who is going to be who. And it was not very positive, it was not very healthy, but it was not very open. Tanzanians don't fight as openly as you Kenyans do. It's
just underground.
It goes very much underground with a lot of respect. But the outcome always shows what was going, although it has been for wrong. Because even our influences, who influenced who? We missionaries, who influenced who was the mentor of who, is also now started showing out. Because of those things. And even today, as we are speaking here, the impact of that going out, our coming together, our forming one church, I say it's still very young, with a lot of three great needs. One is a capacity building. We have to really empower the leadership. That is the office of the national office. They need a lot of mentorship, even today, to be assisted in management, in doing their work. And so that they may do that, they need financial support, because they don't have the resources. Income is very low. The money, the sadakas and the tithes that they are getting there is not enough. It's not enough to make the head office to have enough seminars for themselves, for the leadership, or even to invite the seasoned teachers who can come and assist us in mentoring them, in teaching them, in assist them to grow in the area of leadership. They need exposure for them to go out. Now they are national leaders. They should all learn in Tanzania. They should be invited, come to Kenya, sit in under the legs of seasoned leaders, be taught the word, get into some meetings, not only for the World Gospel Church, but how do they get the resources? Yeah, they don't have the leisure to use the little finances they are getting for self advancement in the spiritual growth. Kwa sababu hiyo sasa, that those international information that goes, they show a picture of a whole evangelist district, but in reality, nothing much will happen. I don't want to say there's no impact. The gospel has been heard, but not understood, not believed. And the thing dies out. So that will hinder any other outsider to think of going to Ngorongoro, because already the information there says
it has been evangelized.
It has been evangelized. They won't go there. You see, and even if it's anybody that is feeling to support financially the work of evangelism in that particular place, if it happens the cheek with those records, they'll say that the place has been well evangelized. So that's very wrong. And those are the data that are outside there.
Okay.
So, what I say, we need to do the missions work, because a real mission work is not hit and run thing. If we are to start a church, and that's our system of doing things, we don't start anywhere, we don't go anywhere if we are not sure we have a mature person to go and start the work there. Now, to send somebody or to support somebody who is ready now to start a church in that particular place, to nurture it, and to give us the access, the ability of us reaching that place until that church grows, it needs a lot of resources. We need that person to be enabled. We need money from outside before these members grow to the point that they can be able to support themselves. You see? So we need a lot of people, a lot of financial support, and financial and also spiritual support for our people to know that we have already started a church in Karatu. We are now starting the new church in Mpanda. Okay? You remember last time when we went, now we are already being called to Ruega. Ruega is an island in Lake Tanganyika, bordering Congo and Tanzania. And to go there from Arusha is a 3-day journey. Day number 1, you travel all the way to Arusha, 18 hours to Mpanda. Spend the night in Mpanda. The following day, travel all the way to Lake Tanganyika for about 6 hours. You have to spend there at the seashore,
at the shore.
The lake shore. Tomorrow morning, you get a boat to cross you to Ruega. You see, when you go to Ruega, you have to spend the night there and leave. You have to leave very quickly. Leave tomorrow morning. When the boat is coming from, when the boat will have come from again Mpanda, because it goes from the other side of the lake to the island and then it comes back. So it takes people, leaves people there, take those who spend there and come back with them once a day. And you know now, there's already a pastor there who has already invited us to go and start that church. So we need resources, money. You see, big money to support that pastor, not for a year. You need money to assist those people, have seminars, even for them to travel from there to come where the others are being gathered together. Now also, to gather the pastor in Nguruka or Kigoma, the pastor in Tabora, the pastor in Mpanda, the pastor in Dodoma, the pastor in Morogoro, the pastor in Dodoma, in where? All those pastors, and have a seminar for them to teach them and to train them for 3 days. You have to give them they have the money to do that. So we are appealing that we need missionaries, people, and missioners and missionaries,
Mission-minded
people who are seeing what is happening. I want to speak something else here to all those who are viewing and seeing this thing, praying for them. When you think of saying that I am going to Uganda for missions or I'm going to Rwanda for missions, you are two different people that are going to Uganda to Rwanda. One group is those people who think and take that is an opportunity to go in a foreign country, to go and see the country, but they go in the name of missions. They want to add a feather in their career of where they have gone. But when they go there, they use much of the money that should have been left there on themselves. And they wanted them to be heard of how they went to a certain place. That's one group of people. The other group of people is a person who feels they want really to have impact in that area. You see, they say in missiology that when 100 shillings is given towards mission work, 90 shillings goes to management of the mission field. The sending office, the church that is starting that mission spends 90 shillings of the 100 shillings. The remaining 10 shilling, you see, goes to the mission field. Okay. And that 10 shillings that goes to the mission field, maybe 4 shillings is spent with the mission work to go and see what we can do. Maybe buy a plot there, maybe buy some equipment for them, maybe buy a bicycle for the local pastor. You see? Then the remaining 6 shillings that has remained, you see, 3 goes to the management of the mission church, the mission field. There's money that must go to manage it. You see? What about the missionary? The person who is there, whom you sent, who lives there, who stays there, how much does he get? If he gets much, it's about 3%. If anything. So, 90%, you who have sent the missioner, you are going to use it in your office. You contribute money, this is for missions. Then you, the people in the office there, not in Kenya, I mean all over the world.
Worldwide.
Worldwide, not the worldwide church. Worldwide.
The whole world.
Yes, the Americans, they will take that money. So you who are going for that mission work, you are going to your fare, how you are going to eat, how you are going to stay there, use that money. You see, when you reach there, the logistics of that country is going to use that money. You see? So the impact of the missionary money, the mission fund, is very minimal. So I beg you and I pray, me here I am. By the grace of God, I'm living. I'm keeping up. And I thank God he has given me some few people who are very committed. And my church is coming up. There are people who are following your steps. They are joining you. I have one presbytery that's really working with us. Not me, but with the church, with the Great Commission Churches of Kenya. And now the GCCT is almost 100% dependent on what you, Jeremiah, and my group are doing to assist them. I make an appeal in the name of Jesus Christ to everyone who hears this. Please come and assist Great Commission Churches of Kenya. We have already reached 15 regions of Tanzania, or provinces of Tanzania. There are still 16 more remaining. But I appeal for 2 things. Capacity building, facilitation. Imaisha? Facility building, facilitation. And also to build the capacity of the current church. And 2, to open and to reach more churches.
And now that you are the only missionary in Tanzania, as per the WGCK, how do you manage yourself financially? Where do you get money? Because you are looked upon and by by GCCT. How do you make it?
You know, they say in Kiswahili there in our church, in Kiswahili everywhere, mzigo mzito mpe mnyamwezi. The hard burden, called the Wanyamwezi person. They are the big, strong people. And to me, for the GCCT, I'm the Mnyamwezi. Now I'm getting calls and cries from every corner of the country for all their needs. And I believe God, who has set me to be there, will supply my needs. That's how I do.
Okay.
But now, Kenyan, the people who sent me, they are struggling. The Nakuru church is struggling to even pay my house rent per month. They are struggling. Only the house rent. Only house rent plus the bill of water. The other one, after the presiding bishop saying how my life sometimes is difficult, he is making a lot of appeal to our local churches, the Great Commission churches of Tanzania. They see as if I'm lonely, I'm out there. And those who are coming to assist me, they are so committed to the mission work itself, such that I'm kind of neglected. But I don't want to use that word because I'm not neglected, but that's how I'm seen. Life is difficult. We have to really struggle. I married after the passing away of my first wife, and my wife is a nurse. So she might be getting 1 shilling there sometimes, and I can say maybe she's assisting. And but we are like that. I have sometimes, I don't know whether this is to be said, but I have to go to take some loans.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to take some loans to assist me.
Make ends meet.
Make ends meet. Yeah, and take a shilling there when I get there. But I have some, maybe I'm still waiting for God to help me. I told you in the beginning of this that God weaned me from looking down to people. And so that I may not say, who am ameniacha, these have left me, they are no longer looking. God took me out of that through teaching.
Yeah. And now, for anybody willing to support mission work in Tanzania, because maybe somebody might think that we need somebody has to contribute hundreds of thousands Kenyan money. What can you tell those people? Who is willing? Somebody, I know the mission-minded people. They are not people with a lot of money.
Yes.
They are people who hear the call from God. What can you tell such a person?
That when the person gets the call, the burden, I have got two ways of them sending the money. All the money coming from Kenya to the Great Commission churches of Kenya passes through me, to myself and even to the church. But here in Kenya, you are the representative of what we are doing. One, we have a bank account that we are both, me and you are the signatories, that we operate. That money can be sent there, be it 500 Kenyan shilling, be it $1 US dollar or £1 or whatever that the Lord may speak to you to contribute towards that work. You can deposit that money to that account, which you are going to give us very soon, the bank account.
Yes.
But also he can send the money either to my telephone number or my M-Pesa account.
Which is +254 705
Yes.
000 208.
Yes, that's my Safaricom number. When money is deposited in that M-Pesa, it will come straight to me. And if anybody feels like doing it, be it a project you feel that you want to support in supporting the new pastors, or one-time offering for a certain need, for the orphans that we still care for to develop the church, or to like now in August we are having the big conference. That means we need I need about 80,000 Kenya shilling to support for the fare of those pastors who are coming from places. The church has already asked me to do that. I beg that if you can get those 80,000, get 1 or 500, send it to that number, and light to me that this money goes to the fare of the pastors and their wives. So that's my number. +254 705 000 John Githinji Wachira. Account number, the bank account.
It will be displayed.
It will be displayed on the screen later.
Now, I think you have done so much there. How do the Tanzanians themselves view you? What is their view?
Now,
what you are doing?
I'm no longer a Kenyan, according to their view. So I'm a Tanzanian currently, but a very rich person with a lot of properties, and I like it that way because I'm rich, yes. With a lot of properties, and who is not defeated by anything. So whenever there's any problem, missionary must be told.
Okay.
So that's the way they see me. And also I'm very happy, and I thank God happily do so, that even the government acknowledges my presence in that country and my mission work, which is now beginning. It's not that it started, it's now beginning, because there's a lot of now new congregations in every area with lots of needs now. I'm younger than I was. I'm approaching 70, you see, but now I am younger than I was 40 when I went. When I was 44, 45 when I went to Tanzania. And the work is sweeter, as you saw. It's getting sweeter. We are having about 5 new places that we are called to go, to build new churches. But yeah, welcome on board.
And what would you tell the Tanzanians as you are doing that work? What would you tell them? Because, you know, sometimes people will only realize there was somebody when that person is not there.
Yes.
What can you tell the Tanzanians?
I tell the Tanzanians, I'm happy to be with them. I'm happy to be working with them. Man, may the Lord help them to get hold of the faith we brought and to take care of what we have already started and to have the zeal. Assist me or us to go on with the call.
And now, because the church is very young, what can you tell them, especially those in leadership? The church is so young, as I know it, and we are looking forward to a big church.
Yeah.
What can you tell the leaders in Tanzania?
The
leaders in Tanzania.
In the church. I'll tell them this is their opportunity of growing. And they start badly, they end up badly. So start right and grow right. Have space for each one of us in our diversity. We are merging to becoming one more than we are one. And they have the opportunity of becoming the greatest denomination, Pentecostal denomination in Tanzania. By the way, I forgot to say that we are also members of the CPCT, Pentecostal Churches of Tanzania, which is Pentecostal Churches of Tanzania. We are member there. So GCCT is not a solitary thing. We are members and registered. So may the church leaders of GCCT keep their unity, defend their unity, and keep their zeal of preaching the gospel and nurturing it as they grow.
Thank you. I think the message is home.
Yes.
And for those willing to partner with the GCCT, the door is wide open. I know there are very many people who view us from wherever in the world, and Tanzania is a very fertile ground.
Yes, true.
And I know God has something for Tanzanians and for that evangelism in their country. And so I know for any contribution that you are going to give out, the Lord will bless you. This channel is led by the Holy Spirit, and we are coming up with other programs that will enable the church to go back to the roots.
Amen.
What we know is that there are those healers of faith. They have kept their fort, they have kept the faith, and they are the ones in a position to lead the new generation. Times are changing, but the word of God never changes.
Yes.
So Jesus is the same yesterday,
today and forever.
And so we need to do what Christ left us to do. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for viewing us, and please help evangelism and mission work in Tanzania. It doesn't matter how much 500 shillings can do, 1,000 can do, 10,000 can do. Whatever amount you have, it will assist in spreading the gospel in Tanzania. It is true. There's a lot of diluting of the gospel in Tanzania. And we need to have the real gospel that was left by Jesus Christ. So viewers, goodbye. Have a nice time. Meet you next time.
Thank you.